I appreciate everybody coming today. Good day's work. We've got just about everything installed. A couple specialty items tomorrow that we usually do on a normal Thursday practice. Questions?
Kyle, you've been around a lot. You've been around this program for a while.
Does that mean I'm old?
It means you're wise. Who would you compare in this program's history to Jamal Morrell and the things that he does?
That's a great question. You know, the guys who've played that position over the years, they've all been a little bit unique. You know, I remember Brandon Rankart playing that position. I remember Quintero Frierson playing that position. I remember Damaso Munoz at one point in his career playing that position. So they're all different body types and different skill sets, and the system allowed them to be effective. And Jamal's a little bit unique in his height and length and his ability to run at that position, combined with being a good open field tackler, which guys, you know, his body type aren't always good open field tacklers, and he is. So he's a little bit unique. I don't know that he's like anybody we've had here.
How's game day install going on a short week?
It's going good. You know, we're right on schedule. The thing we've changed this week on the short week is we don't hit as much. You know, we're not in full pads and uppers and that kind of stuff. But we're running a similar schedule to what we did last year. Last year was at the end of the season, so we did a little less the first day. This year we did a little bit more just because of the point in the season that we're at. But in terms of install, we're right on schedule.
Does it seem like it's a shorter week because you're between two road games?
No, it doesn't feel like that to me. These Thursday games, we've been playing them for a while here, and we've got a routine that we go through, and we stay pretty much to it, and just got to gauge really the health of the team. And I think we're about as healthy as anybody is around the country right now.
Are you surprised? Probably don't look at what Vegas says about 17-point underdogs. Are you surprised? It doesn't see how close this series is going.
Somebody said that to me yesterday. I don't look at it. I don't really have a frame of reference. I don't even know what we were for the first 4 games. So I'm not sure exactly why that would be the case. But I don't worry about those things. You know, the only opinions that I'm concerned with in terms of going into the game are the feelings of the people in the program. And I know we're ready to compete. And they got a good football team on the other side. But we've got a group of 18 to 22-year-olds that are going to play their group of 18 to 22-year-olds Thursday night.
So you don't use any motivation now, that kind of thing?
No, I don't think so. I don't think our program is at that stage anymore. I don't know that we see ourselves as underdogs. I think we can compete with anybody on our schedule. I think the players for this one.
You had a lot of success with the screenplay on Saturday. I mean, are you surprised it led to those big yardage, those big chunk gains? Because I don't know if the screen is always considered a big play facilitator.
Yeah, every play you draw up is designed to give you that potential. Now, they weren't all successful. They had a couple of days. They did a nice job defending, and Justin did a nice job of avoiding one of the tacklers on the big one. It was a 50-yarder early in the game. So, you know, those screen plays can be very useful, but, you know, whether it's a screen or a handoff or a deep ball, there's a lot of things that got to happen right when you have a 50-yard play. And I think on that play they did happen. So I wasn't necessarily surprised. I think we've got guys on offense that can make big plays.
Kyle, you said yesterday you brought in Antoine Lowry because you thought he could provide a little extra something. What exactly did you think he could provide in that game?
Well, I felt like we were just a little bit inconsistent up front, and that's not all Chris Muller's fault. But we just really, hey, let's get Antoine in there. These guys played a lot of football for us, and give a young guy a chance to just take a deep breath and look at what's happening on the field. And I think it was good for both guys. I think it was good to get Antoine in there and get him some game experience this season. And it was good for Chris to be able to take a look at it. And now, you know, as it turns out, Antoine's ankle is still not 100%, so I'm not even sure he'll be able to go yet. I think he'll be ready by game day, but I'm not sure about that. And Chris now is back in there, and he's doing a good job this week, so I think he'll be a better player for it.
Kyle, I know all the games count the same, but these guys know it's the biggest game of the season, right? I mean, you know it's a big game.
Well,
do you have to temper emotions? I mean, how do you...
There's no doubt it's the biggest game of the season for us because it's the only one we get to play this week. And that's really how we approach it. Now, you know, the national stage, you know, we're not immune or naive to any of that kind of stuff. You know, we understand that it's a national game. Thursday night football is the Monday night football of college. So it's always gives the players a little bit more juice, that's for sure.
And in terms of, like, what it could mean for what's possible of this season and this conference this season. I mean, there's no underplaying what's
No,
at stake,
I think you're right. I think you've got two teams that are both 1-0 in the conference. So the team that's fortunate enough to be 1-0 Thursday night continues to control their own destiny within the conference. And in a conference with no championship game, I think that's critical. The more you can do that, the better your chances are in the end of ending up on top.
You faced two extremely good quarterbacks for Fresno last week. I mean, is Bridgewater even at a higher level than that?
I think he's got a little bit of a different skill set. Teddy's Teddy's a unique player. He's a special football player, and there's no doubt when they talk about the best quarterbacks in the country, he's in the conversation all the time, and he deserves that. He's earned that right. I think there's some similarities in terms of what the quarterbacks can do. I think Teddy's physical stature is something that gives him a little bit of an edge as well. And these type of things, very hard to get on the ground. He's got the ability to make plays out of broken plays. And those are the things, other than the fact that he can make all the throws, that make him even more dangerous.
What you can do with your secondary to obviously it seems like a lot of problems watching it from afar. What can you do to sort of slow it down?
You know, I think that the two teams that threw the ball 70 times apiece against us play the game in that style. I don't anticipate Louisville playing the game in that style. When you watch them play their games from this season and last season, they strive to be a 50-50 team, and I think that's the team we're going to see. So we overcompensate trying to do something like that would probably make us very vulnerable in the run game, and I think they would love that. So we're going to game plan this one the way we do all of them, try to stop the run, make them one-dimensional if we can, and then if you can do that, you got a better chance of stopping the passes.
Replicate what he does on a scout team, or do you basically need to get your defense versus that scout team to a point where they just know what to anticipate, that there are wild cards?
I think it's, you can replicate it, you're not going to duplicate it. And we've got a couple talented quarterbacks back over there with the scout team, Chris Laviano, Blake Rankin, I think they're doing a good job. What you can't really duplicate are the broken plays that he turns into big plays for them on offense. That's where you just got to be disciplined in what you do and not uncover a receiver that was previously covered in the middle of a play.
Got time for two more.
Can you reference? Sorry.
When trying to make them one-dimensional, what you do, is that more dangerous for the quarterback than Teddy Bridgewater?
I think Teddy Bridgewater is a dangerous quarterback. I don't think we can change the way we play defense because of that. We have a system of defense and a philosophical way that we play defense, and we match that certainly every week to the players and the playmakers on the other teams. But the statistic to us that's proven over time to win games is rushing yards. And if we can limit teams in their rushing yard category, our chances of winning go way up.
I was just wondering if it's helpful to reference either what he did in last year's game or what, the opportunity that you didn't take advantage of in last year's game. I mean, if it's helpful to reference that all this year, is there anything useful in there?
I don't know that it needs to be referenced. I don't think the players that were on the team last year have forgotten it. Certainly, when you get to the end of the year and you play a championship game, because that's what it ended up being, and you come up a couple plays short. I don't know that anybody needs to be reminded of that. But there's a lot of different players on both sides of the ball this year. The teams are different. And I've said that to our guys. Winning this game does not take back what happened last year. Last year was last year, and this is the 2013 football season and football team. So we got an opportunity to be 1-0. We got an opportunity to stay undefeated in the conference. I don't think we need any more motivation than that.